Hello everyone. In our Brain Healing Master course for Level 1, Section 3, we'll be talking about 5 steps in brain education in this brain course. They are sensitization, versatalization, refreshing, integration, and mastership. I'm going to talk about this step by step and what each step is, what they consist of. Basically, sensitization is literally helping you to awaken to your 5 senses and also improve the physiological functions and encourages brain awareness. So let's talk about what this means. What does it mean to become sensitive? But what does it mean to be sensitized to your senses? Since we don't get to utilize, we don't have a full potential of our brain capacity, that our 5 senses are quite limited. And also the way and how we feel things are quite limited as well. In order to be able to become more sensitive, more specifically brain sensitizing, then we have to utilize our brain, we utilize our body very, very well. When we say 5 senses, we're talking about auditory, taste, smell, vision, and touch, and also feeling. And what are you feeling those things? Because of our limited potential that we haven't utilized the brain well up to this point, that we haven't really utilized our 5 senses either. Do you know you can be able to taste more things? I mean, there are about 5 or 7 different tastes the human can detect. But beyond this, that we can be able to taste really to the richest sense of food or anything else. And also auditory, we can be able to hear things beyond the certain level of spectrum of frequencies, and also visual as well. Don't you sometimes you kind of see something, but when you turn around and look at it again, it's not there anymore? We have ability to see beyond what we can see. Sometimes there are things that you might see on a camera. Sometimes you can detect the energy of things. Dr. Killian in Russia found out that there is this energy around all living things, or even inanimate objects, and we call it Killian photos. It has turned into many aura machines to be able to see the energy around things. Or in Oriental medicine, we call it chi or ki. Even we can see that with our eyes, but because of certain frequencies, we cannot be able to detect that. And the smell, touch, all of those things, by focusing with the certain concentration and focus, we can be able to feel, and also we can be able to enhance our sensitization. So one of the things that you can try, let's try this. I hope you are in a very quiet place right now. And make your hands into fist and open. Make your hands to fist and open, but very, very tightly. To fist and open, and make hands into fist and open. And do this several times. And close your eyes. And bring your hands close together, but not touching. And open. And keep doing this. And just focus on your hands and focus on the space between your hands. As you do this, you will feel almost like a tension or pressure between your hands. And more you focus without any disruption and without any thoughts, you can be able to feel this much intensely. And if you can feel it, you can be able to expand that. Okay, come back. This is actually one of the ways, but one of the simple way that you can be able to enhance your sensitization and brain sensitizing process. There are many different ways to do this, but one of the best and most effective way to do this is through sensitizing your body, through certain exercises. So this is some of the things that we cover in the section 2 with some of the exercise. We did the testing and also learn about specific energy movement and exercise that you can do. So more you do this, more you will start to feel different things. So sensitizing means basically awakening 5 senses, improving physiological functioning, and encourage brain education. So the part of improving physiological function is through just keeping your body active and healthy. Though one of the simple way to do it is through stretching. When you stretch your body, when you move your body and stretch your body, but regular and consistent way, that you can be able to create this strengthening. And the third part of the encouraging your brain and awareness, it comes from really quieting your mind. What do you know as a meditation? That's one of the best way you can do. Finding a quiet place for you to either just focus on your breathing or focusing on one area in your body. Best way to do it in our language, second chakra, or in Chinese they call it dantian, Korean they call it danjeon. I think Japanese is a similar term. So by simply focusing on that area and quieting your mind. So that's one of the best way to creating awareness in the brain. By focusing on your breathing, you can be able to detect and feel a lot of things that's going on in your brain. The things that you might not have felt before, things that you might not have tapped into before. But creating that quiet place and quiet energy is very, very important. So as you do these exercises, some of the things that we cover in section 2, you will be able to feel a lot of different things. Initially, you tend to feel a lot of aches and pain, but it's natural to be. So don't worry if you ever experience that. And then you will start to feel the things that you haven't felt before. Like I said, it will usually start with the aches and pain. We call it energetical blockages in our body, that if we don't pay attention, since our awareness is not in the body, usually it's outside, that, and one of the things we cover in section 2, energy goes where your mind goes. Because of that, we actually do not really feel what's going on in our body until it becomes something very, very serious. You know, there's something that start to build up, and then when it gets to the point of very, blockage is very serious, they turn into a very painful state. But you can be able to feel this before it gets very serious. That very beginning time, your body talks to you very loudly, but we don't get to hear about this. We don't get to sense this because we have been insensitive or desensitized to the senses of our body and of our brain. So in the beginning, when you start to do exercise whatnot, you're going to start to feel a lot of different things. Basically, all the things you're supposed to be feeling. So it's actually a good thing. So through this, you'll start to feel a lot of different things. Also, your 5 senses will start to become more, I would say, sensitive. So this is the first part. We call that brain sensitization. The second one is called brain versatilization. Versatilization really means it's a flexibility. Be able to create more flexibility in the brain. And also this can be accomplished through using your body, through utilizing your body. One of the simple ways to test your flexibility is just one that we covered before, checking your body, how flexible you are. But one of the more simple way to check is doing this. So you want to try this with me? So bring your hands up like this, make your hands into fist. Left finger to the left side and right pinky to the left side. And now switch. Right thumb to the right, your left pinky to the right. And slowly switch again. Left, right, left, right. If you feel like you have mastered this, do a little bit faster. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. We have a next level to this, but you have to master this first. So this is one of the way to just basically checking it. So brain versatalization, flexibility, so it has three components. Creating flexibility in brain circuitry. Creating flexibility in a brain circuitry means by creating the flexibility, through flexibility in the body. The second part is to freeze the brain from rigid habits. This can be something sounds easy, but might not be easy to do because we have a very strong habits. I talk about this quite a lot in my workshops, and especially when it's a very short workshop, that how strongly our habits are ingrained in our brain. Pretty much more than 90% of things, we do it without fully aware of what we are doing. Basically, we are not mindful of what we do and what we are saying. And we do a lot of things out of habit, or a lot of things turn into autopilot. Almost we are walking around like a zombie without aware of what we are doing. And when you start to sensitize, which is the first step in a brain education, you will start to be aware of all of this. You will start to see that you have been reacting to same situation over and over, and you have been having certain feelings about things over and over. Sometimes you notice that even that you drive to your work exactly the same way. You might be eating your breakfast exactly the same way. Or you might have the same fashion all your life that you might not even know. Good way to check that is asking people around you. You probably think that you have many different clothes and different style. But if you ask your friends and family, they will say, yes, you have a certain style, that you wear same clothes over and over, that you might not even notice it. And without being fully aware, we have created all this, but it is important for us to come out of this, to create flexibility, create versatilization in our brain. So I'll recommend you this to do. Just every day, do something different. It could be just having your breakfast differently, or it could be about driving to work and find a different way to go. If you haven't been having the same emotion or even angry about something with the same person for a long time, to do that differently, approach things differently. You don't have to drastically change everything. You don't have to apologize if you don't feel like it, but just approach things differently. That just a subtle change in your habit can create tremendous wave of big change that you can create in your life. So this is one of the things that I recommend to people all the time. Just start something small, but do something different every day. Or do something that you never done before. I found out that even doing this simple task is difficult for many people. And you will start to know that how many things that you turned into habits in your life. We shower the same way, we walk the same way, we eat the same way, we have a certain posture, we walk exactly the same way, we put our pants exactly the same way, we put on our shirts exactly the same way, we brush our teeth the same way. All this pattern. When we are not aware, we go into this autopilot pattern. If you get to come out of one of this, you can be able to create something tremendously creative in your life. I promise you. The third part to this is opens the practitioner's new information. So what happens is that when you become versatilized, when you become flexible, you will become open to new ideas and new thoughts that you were not open to before. I'm not saying that you're very rigid and not flexible, but through doing this, through coming out of a habit, you'll be open to a lot of different things that perhaps you were not aware of before. Almost like whole new world open up for you. And one of the first things that happen to you is that people around you, your friends and family and colleagues, start to noticing and start to say like, what happened to you? And they will start to question, but actually they'll be more fascinated than anything else. And when people start asking you those questions, you're doing a good job. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Keep creating changes. Keep doing different things every day. That is very, very important. So that is the second part, the brain versatilization. But out of this, what is most important, I believe, is that when someone open up to new ideas, although we might think that we're very open and flexible in our thoughts, when our brain is not flexible, we cannot see new thoughts and new idea, and it's very hard for us to be creative, like I said earlier. So when our bodies start to be flexible, when our brains start to become flexible, new ideas and new information will come to you. That new information and new idea that have been all around us all these times, and you start to notice that. And you start to see that very, very clearly. Isn't that amazing? That it has been there all along. It's like you're looking at your clock that when on your desk last 20 years, that you didn't notice that there's a tiny other hand that's moving in there. You also notice that there's a different shape to that. Not only that, you would also come up with some idea what to do with this clock. And if you someone who's making clock, you will come up with ideas how to improve it. But it has been there all along. What's more important is that you notice that your body and you have been with you all this time, that you have not been fully utilized who you are and your body up to this point. So you will start to notice a lot of different things. One of the simple way to do this is Not necessarily utilizing anything outside of you, but utilizing your body. Doing things different with your body. Make your hair differently. Wear different colors of clothes that you don't normally wear. That would be one of the big things. You all of you have stuck with a specific color. You always get drawn to one same color of a shirt, same color of a pant, same color of a hat, whatever that might be. Well, open your closet and look at it and see. You will notice that the same color of a shirt is in your drawer. And if you don't believe me, then ask your friends and family. So if your closet is full of a blue color shirt, wear a red shirt the next day. Just try. I bet you your energy will change. The third step to brain 5-step education is that brain refreshing. And there's 3 aspects to that, as you can see in the workbook. Clears away emotional residue, encourages positive life view, develops emotional intelligence. What they mean is that basically it is about clearing the information that you have in your brain, be able to let go of all of those. But I realized over the years, just first part in identifying the emotions that's not serving us well, it takes quite a focus. In some aspect in our course, I talked about this subconscious, that we are not being able to detect all the time, more of inner consciousness. And since it is so deep and it's like an iceberg, like under the water, we don't see it and we don't feel it. We feel it, but since we are not sensitive to it, we don't really realize it's there. So be able to catch those emotions are very, very important. And when you get to catch them, also we have to have enough power to let go. Oftentimes, through interaction with the people, through relationship with the people, we get to catch a lot of emotions that's not serving us well. For example, you might have anger toward one particular person in your life, or you might have you cannot be able to forgive somebody in your life. In a deep part of you, in deep part of who you are, you know that you have to forgive. Deep part of you know that you don't have to hold grudges. You know that you don't have to be so angry. But it is very hard to do when the person is right in front of you, and especially when the person is doing the things that you don't like. So those are some of the time that it is easier for us to be able to catch those emotions. So you don't want to be angry. So that's one of the emotions. You want to forgive somebody. You don't want to hold grudges. That forgiveness is very difficult. So those are some of the emotions sometimes you can be able to get hold of. And then you want to be able to release it. You want to be able to let go. And that takes a lot of energy. When you gain energy within your body, and some of the train and exercise that we talked about before, that you can be able to easily let go. You can be able to easily clear away. But this third step in brain refreshing might take longer for a lot of people, because the reason is that we have been avoiding looking at this for a long time. You and me, a lot of us, because it's not fun, and it's actually painful to look at it. We almost want to pretend that it doesn't exist. We almost want to pretend that we don't have that emotion. Since we have been avoiding it, we have not been really addressing it for so long. It's going to take quite of energy and skill to bring that out. And that first we have to know and recognize that we do have to clear this energy. Literally, it's like an energy residue that it's in our brain, creating a lot of blockages. Since our brain and body is connected, and it's one in work in unison, having that information in your brain, having that emotional energy in your brain, and also if it's negative and heavy, it inevitably affect the rest of the body. And eventually it will show up in our body as a blockages. And if we leave that on for too long, it can turn into something much more serious. So if it is difficult to just get rid of, the best thing to do is move your body. When you move your body, it will be easier to loosen things up. The second part encourages a positive life view. Basically, what this means is encouraging yourself, and also continuously have a positive thought, no matter what the circumstances might be. Oftentimes, people ask me, especially when they are in a difficult situation, and there's just by thinking positively, do you think I can change my life? I'll say yes. It all starts from us. It all starts from within us. By choosing it, by believing it, energy starts to emanate from us, and outside start to change. It's not the other way around. We are spending so much of our energy, so much of our time trying to change outside. We spend so much of our energy and so much of our thought trying to change other people. A lot of us spend most of our lives trying to change outside and change other people. And we think that if we just change you, if you just do things differently, my life will be different. But actually, that's not true. We have to change ourselves. When we change, everything else can be changed. So that's what it means by that. That changing energy, when we're shifting energy, in order to shift energy, the clearing of the emotion needs to take place. When we still holding on to that anger, we cannot be able to change. We cannot be able to have that positive outlook. So every moment that you have to be able to notice your thoughts and your emotion and where you are at. And when you get to catch yourself in a certain way that's not serving you well, if it's heavy or negative, then we have to find a way to let go of that. So in order to catch, we have to be able to watch our thought and emotion all the time. And that's what mindfulness is. That can be able to accomplish through having a quiet moment in time. I have to say, it definitely takes some training. It might not happen overnight. It definitely didn't happen overnight for me, and I still have to work on it. Every day, every moment, we have to focus on releasing and stay positive and having the positive outlook and positive energy all the time. So once again, reviewing this, in order to have that positive outlook, we have to be able to catch ourselves where we are. In order to catch ourselves, we have to be mindful of our thought and our behavior every moment. And this process can be easier and easier to accomplish when you get to be able to create a quiet moment, quiet place. You can be able to let go of your thought. You can be able to just empty yourself. One of the best ways that I know is meditation. So I recommend all of you to be able to have some time to be able to do that every day. And the third part is develop emotional intelligence. When we say develop emotional intelligence means, you heard about IQ, right? IQ is something you can test, like your mathematics skills and your academic skills, like how smart you are. And usually they test with a lot of things that you might have learned from school. But there is something called EQ. Have you heard of that? It's emotional intelligent quotient. Emotional intelligent quotient can be subjective, but there's actually certain levels that you can be able to achieve. It can be subjective, and then you might have your own level of emotional intelligent quotient. But that's what will help us to create creative and peaceful life, and also be able to help others. The fourth is the brain integration. There's 3 aspects to it. Unifies diverse areas of the brain. What this means is that I believe our society, our culture is all kind of compartmentalized. Even when you go to hospital, there's eye doctor, nose doctor, cardiologist, neuroscience. It's all kind of divided. But I would like all really, can we be able to see ourselves like an isolated part? Because it is connected to the rest of the body. Being able to see things in an isolated section is good, but also we have to eventually be able to bring everything together to create a connection. Our body is composed of many different things. By being able to bring all this together, you can be able to function in a uniform and person and being. And also, brain integration part enhances the communication between hemispheres. What this means, you already know about the left side of the brain and right side of the brain, or left or right side of part of the hemisphere. One is more to do with art, communication, and relationship. The other part is very mathematical and analytical side. And our society is almost like kind of divided in that 2 ways too. But we do have this both parts. Yes, maybe one person is more developed on this side, and some people is more developed on this side. But since that we have these 2 aspects, we have to be able to bring together. We have to be able to bring together to be able to achieve whatever we have to achieve. You cannot only function from your analytical brain, or you can only function from your emotional relationship aspect. We might have a strength in either side, but we have to be able to bring those 2 parts together. And how can you be able to do that? First, you have to be able to identify that where your strength is. By finding the strength, or by finding the weakness, there's a way to be able to bring the 2 bridge the gaps together. If you think that you're more analytical, work on your emotional part, work on your creative aspect, work on communication, work on relationship. If you feel like you have more strength in an emotional and an artistic way, but not very analytical, but also then you can work on this part, even just by reading certain book, even just trying to solve some mathematical problems. Okay, the 5th part of the brain mastering is about literally mastering your brain, which is the last part of the brain 5 step. The first part is empowering authorship of life purpose. I wonder how you feel about your life is. I wonder how if you feel like you have control over your life. I wonder if you feel like you have a mastership over your life and you can do what you want to do, and you have a clear direction and clear control of what's going on. The mastership is not only about be able to control your life, but it is about having a very clear purpose and focus in your life. I want you to be able to close your eyes for a minute and imagine yourself the biggest, brightest state you can imagine. Imagine yourself as the most brightest, expansive version of yourself. The person who not only thinking about him or herself, but the whole world. Because we can be able to do that. Can open your eyes? You can be able to do that. Each person is connected to the whole universe. By changing you, by you setting a goal, you might think it's much bigger than what you can do. You are actually creating a connection, energy connection to the whole universe. So I want you to have a moment again to think of yourself and creating the biggest goal, biggest vision of yourself. And the second part is the enables greater executive control of the brain. So I kind of mentioned this earlier, but you can be able to control your brain fully and completely. In order to do that, you have to be able to analyze, you have to be able to see that if we are really master of our brain, if we are owner of our brain. Throughout our lives, many people stole our brain. It could be our teachers, it could be even our parents, even our church, even society, even books, or through some people in a relationship. They store our brain, store part of us, part of who we are, and the master prevent us to create a mastership over our lives and our brain. You have to take back your brain from all these people. But you first have to see that who and how your brain has been stolen. And through this process, you can be able to see that. And at the end of level 1, we're going to be able to deal with this, talk about this in a very in-depth level. But for now, I just want you to be able to have a moment to see and where your mastership is. If you have a control of your body, control of your life, and control of your brain. If that's not the case, and where and how that has happened. The third aspect to it is expedite decision-making process. When you be able to let go of all this negative energy and also become master of your brain, which means when you get to take back your brain and not giving your power to anybody else, you will be able to make clear this decision very, very quickly. And this just happens very naturally. You can be able to make decision, and you know exactly what you have to do every moment. Does this make sense? Okay, that's the fifth part of the brain mastership, or 5 steps in brain education. Once again, I would like to go over this. The 5 steps into this: the sensitization, versatalization, refreshing, integration, and mastering. Sensitization is about literally creating enhancing the sensitivity in your brain. You become sensitized your thought and your brain. And you can be able to accomplish this through energy exercise and also strengthening your body. Second part is become versatilized, which means become flexible. And you can be able to accomplish this by doing things differently and being creative, being able to watch your patterns and watch your habits. It would be very good for you to write your journal, to write down what your thought is, what has revealed to you. Third is refreshing. Be able to let go of anything that's confining you, any information that you might have, any information about yourself that's not serving you well. So you have to really have to look at yourself and what kind of information that you have and be able to let go. Integrating. Be able to fully function as the person that be able to use left and right side of the brain hemisphere. Not only that you can be able to utilize your analytical side of the brain very well, but also you can be very, very creative, because we do have those two functions. And fifth is mastering. Mastering starts with setting a very clear goal in your life, but the biggest goal, grandest goal that you can think of. And I would like you to set this goal in your quiet time. Close your eyes and meditate to think of the biggest self, imagine the biggest person as who you are in this lifetime. No matter how crazy you might feel or you think, that's who you are, and that's where we're going to get to. There's a little boy in India, place that the impoverished area. He knew that he can help people and also be able to reach millions of people. And he got to do that. And there's many people in this world start with that vision, that idea. So I want you to dream, I want you to vision the biggest self you can imagine. Starting with that, brain masterization begins. And with that, not only become creative, but your decision-making process will become faster and faster. Okay, so I want you to do several of these exercises that we talk about, and we'll see you in the next section. Thank you.